So you're looking at buying a Tesla, but you want to know what it's actually going to cost you. Well, you're in luck because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what it costs me to own my Tesla Model 3. And this includes both upfront costs and monthly costs from financing, maintenance, charging, and insurance. I'm also going to compare it to an ICE vehicle in order to highlight why the sticker price on EVs is a bit misleading and why they may not be as expensive as you think. So by the time you're done watching this video, you're going to have a good understanding of all the costs associated with owning a Tesla. And you're also going to know how to calculate these costs for yourself in your own situation using this spreadsheet tool that I created when I was thinking about buying my own Model 3. And before we jump into it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy the content. It really helps the channel grow and I'd really appreciate the support. All right, I'm going to go hop onto my computer and let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by sharing exactly what it cost me to buy my Tesla Model 3. And then I'm going to show you how to calculate this for yourself, as well as how to compare that to a combustion engine vehicle. Okay, so first up, let's talk about financing. So the sticker price for my Tesla Model 3 long-range dual motor was $48,990. And the only option that included was the deep blue metallic paint. Now Tesla also charges a $1,200 documentation and destination fee on all of their vehicles. And then you also have to factor in tax to get your total purchase price. In my state, the sales tax is 8.15%. But in order to know how much sales tax you're going to have to pay, you have to know whether or not you're trading in a vehicle or not. Because in most states in the US, there's a tax break if you're trading in your vehicle when buying a new one. So since I traded in my car for $12,000, that actually lowered the taxable amount of my purchase by $12,000. And at 8.15% sales tax rate, that saved me almost $1,000 in tax at the time of purchase. But given all of this, with the purchase price of $48,990, the $1,200 destination fee, and then sales tax of $3,100, that brought my total purchase price to $53,302. So I already mentioned that I traded in my car for $12,000, but I actually still owed almost $8,000 on it. So my real trade-in value was only $4,324 that came off of the purchase price of the car. And I also had to put down a $2,500 deposit when I ordered my car online. And Tesla just counts this as part of your down payment. So on top of that, I put another $6,478 down on this car, bringing my total down payment to $13,302, leaving $40,000 left to be financed through a loan. Now, I actually financed through Tesla, who uses Wells Fargo, because they actually offered me the best rate. I shopped around at 3 or 4 other banks and credit unions, and no one could beat their offer at the time. And they offered me a 3.74% interest rate over 72 months. And this results in a monthly payment of $621, which is definitely not cheap. It means that over the 6 years paying off this car, I will pay $4,717 in interest. So I was actually eligible for tax credits when I purchased my car last year. Tesla was still eligible for a federal tax credit of $1,875, and then the state of Colorado also offered a $5,000 credit, bringing my total tax credits to $6,875. Unfortunately now, Tesla is no longer eligible for the federal tax credit, but many states do still offer incentives, so make sure to check out if your state offers any tax credits. I also want to mention that I am not a financial advisor, so please do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Okay, now that we've covered my upfront costs and my monthly loan payment, let's get into what it costs to actually operate this car. So as far as charging costs and electricity, I generally drive about 12,000 miles a year, and my car averages 233 watt hours per mile, or 0.233 kilowatt hours per mile. And in my area, electricity costs about 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So that means that annually I pay about $335 for electricity, or about $28 per month. And as far as maintenance on my Tesla Model 3, there really isn't any. The drivetrain is super simple and robust, and if you're using one-pedal driving, you'll probably never have to replace your brakes. But sure, there are still things like washer fluid and cabin air filters and tires, but those really shouldn't be any different between a Tesla and any other car. But for conservatism, I put in $50 a year for maintenance on my Tesla. But for reference, in almost a year of ownership, I've spent like $3 on a thing of washer fluid, and that's it. Which means to operate my Tesla Model 3, it costs less than $400 per year. And then the only other two costs associated with my Tesla Model 3 are insurance and registration fees. As far as insurance, I pay about $105 a month, but it's important to note that insurance rates vary wildly across different regions and states. And this is below average for the state of Colorado. On top of that are registration fees. which unfortunately are very expensive here and are based on the purchase price and age of the vehicle. So I put $500 annually here, but that's more of an average. My first year registering, this was closer to $800, but every year it'll go down a couple $100s. So I figured this was a good average over the life of the loan, which is what I was calculating here. So all in all, my Tesla Model 3 cost me just shy of $800 per month to own and operate, which is about $9,600 per year. And over my 6-year loan duration will cost me about $64,000. Now, a couple notes about this value. This includes my down payment of $13,302, plus the principal and interest on the loan, plus the electricity and maintenance costs, as well as insurance and registration fees. And I also deducted the $6,875 in tax credits that I got. Now, this value does not account for two things. One is tire replacements, which I will probably have to do once within these 6 years. And the other thing this doesn't account for is residual vehicle value. I think it's anybody's guess what this car is going to be worth after 6 years of ownership. So I didn't want to speculate on that and I just left it out. So $800 a month for this car is definitely a lot of money. But the numbers get pretty interesting when you compare them to an ICE vehicle. So let's jump into the full spreadsheet tool that I created and compare the numbers. And if you didn't pick up on this already, I really like spreadsheets. So on the left is all of the financing information that I went through before. And this is all set up for my exact situation when I was looking at the Model 3 last year. So you can see that previously I had a $393 a month car payment. And with this car, I drove about 12,000 miles a year, and I got about 26 miles per gallon combined. I also had to use premium gas in this car, which was about $3.10 per gallon, meaning that I was spending almost $120 a month on gas alone, or $1,430 per year on gas. On top of that, I had to get at least 2 fully synthetic oil changes every year, which was about $180 a year. And there was also a lot more maintenance with this car. Over the 3 years that I had it, I averaged about $400 a year on top of the oil changes for scheduled and unscheduled maintenance, meaning that I was spending over $2,000 a year on gas and maintenance alone for this vehicle. And we previously calculated that the Tesla was only going to cost me $385 a year, which is over $1,600 less per year or $135 less per month to operate. So I added that $135 a month in savings on top of my previous car payment, and this gave me $528 a month. And what this tells me is that if I had a car payment of $528 a month on an electric car, that even though the car payment is higher, the actual cost to operate would be the same as I was already paying with my gas car. Now, I did assume that tires, registration, and insurance fees would be the same between these two cars, which for me was a true assumption. So given that, I came to the conclusion that buying the Tesla Model 3 would actually only cost me $92 more per month compared to the gas car I was already driving, even though the car payment would be $621 a month compared to $393 that I currently had. So then I took it a step further and added in insurance and registration fees. And like I said, these were really the same for me between the two cars. So you can see that my gas car cost $707 per month, or $8,483 per year. And if I had the same duration loan over the same period, would have cost $64,205 over the 6 years, which is actually $205 more than the Tesla Model 3, which probably doesn't make sense at first since the monthly payment is $92 less than the Model 3. But when you factor in the almost $7,000 in tax credits that I got, that's where the difference comes up. And that makes them almost comparable. So this was the exact scenario that I was in when I purchased my car. So there's a good chance you understand why I decided to buy the Model 3. It wasn't really going to cost me that much more to own and operate, and it was going to be a lot more fun and exciting than the 2013 Audi A4 that I was driving before. But the cool thing about this tool that I created is that it's fully customizable. And I'm going to post this to my Google Drive and put a link down in the description so that you all can save a copy and customize it for yourself in your own situation. But first, let me step through how to use it. Before we get started, there is a key down in the bottom right that helps you understand a little bit of what's going on here. The first two are just a couple definitions, but then you can see that the green cells, those are the cells that you want to edit. The white cells are all calculated values off of green cells. And then the blue cells are kind of the important outputs. But basically only the green cells are things that you should be editing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go on Tesla's website and find the purchase price of the car you're looking at. So let's say we want to see the cost of this one, which is $46,990. So for sales tax rate, that's something that you can Google based on your state, city, county, and you can just put in here. Mine is 8.15%, so we'll just leave that for now. For trade-in, this is the total trade-in value of your vehicle. So if you're not planning to trade in your vehicle, you would set this to 0. But if you're still trying to decide, you can play around with this to see how it impacts the numbers. One other note on trade-ins is that in most places, Tesla will match CarMax offers for trade-ins. So for example, Tesla actually only offered me $8,700 for the trade-in on my car, and CarMax offered me $12,000. So on delivery day, I just had to show Tesla the offer letter from CarMax, and they accepted it and matched it. So for this example, let's say our trade-in value is $10,000. And that tells us that we owe $3,112 in tax at delivery, and then the $1,200 destination fee, for a total purchase price of $51,302. So now let's say that on that $10,000 trade-in, you only owed $2,500, meaning that you had $7,500 in equity. And as of now, Tesla has gotten rid of the high deposits when you're placing your order, and I believe it's only $100 now. So we're putting $7,500 down through the trade-in, and then $100 from the order fee, and let's say that that's all we're going to put down, no additional down payments. So you can see here that means that you have to finance $43,700. And since interest rates have come down since I purchased my car last year, let's say that you get this at a 3% interest rate, and you choose to do a 6-year or 72-month loan, bringing your monthly payment to $664. Down here, you also want to populate whether or not there are any tax credits that you can take advantage of. For this example, let's say that there are none, and that's $0. Now let's jump over to here and fill in the car payment of the gas car that we're comparing this to. And you can use the financing section on the left if you want to calculate this as well. You can just go put in the different purchase price and assume that the rest of the information is the same. So let's say that we're comparing to a $40,000 gas car with the same trade-in and down payment. And that would be a $549.14 monthly payment. Now don't forget to change the purchase price back to the Tesla so that you have the correct values in there. Okay, now let's move over to the gas section. And let's say that you drive 15,000 miles a year on average, you get 25 miles per gallon, and gas is $3 per gallon. That tells you that you're going to spend about $150 a month or $1,800 a year on gas alone. Now down to the electricity section. The miles driven are the same based on what you put in above. And then you just need to know your car's efficiency and the cost per kilowatt hour. So I included these 3 numbers for the Model 3 in here. And since we're still using the long-range dual motor in this example, that stays the same at 233 watt-hours per mile. But if you were getting the standard range of the performance, those values are right here, so you could just copy those in. And then for electricity cost, if you're planning to charge at home, you can find this number on your bills and just put that in. So let's say that it's only 10 cents a kilowatt hour in your area. And you can see that that means that it's only going to cost $29 per month to charge, or $350 per year. Now let's jump over to the operating costs section, and here's where you can put in maintenance costs. So if you're driving 15,000 miles a year, that's probably 3 oil changes a year, and let's say they're $80 each, so that's $240 for the gas car. But since it's new, it hopefully doesn't need that much maintenance, so we'll drop this down to $300. And then for the EV maintenance, we'll leave that at $50 a year. But feel free to change it if you think that's too high or too low. And then we can see the annual operating costs for the 2 vehicles. The ICE vehicle, $2,340 a year for gas and maintenance. And the EV is only $400. And below, that means that you can see that the Tesla costs $162 less per month to operate compared to the gas car, or almost $2,000 a year. And then if we go to the payment comparison, that gets factored in here. And as you can see here, it would actually cost almost $47 less per month to get the Tesla compared to the gas car. And this is about $560 less per year. And then in the last section, we can input insurance and registration fees. Let's say insurance is cheaper in your state, and this is only $60 a month. And registration fees are also much more reasonable at $100 a month. Wouldn't that be nice? So you can see that over the 72-month loan duration, the gas car is going to cost $812 per month, or $9,749 per year, for a total of just over $66,000 over the 6 years. Now the Tesla costs $765 a month, or about $9,200 a year, for a total of $62,725 over the 6 years. And if you compare the 2 costs between the gas car and the Tesla will cost $3,372 less over the 6 years. So again, in this case, it would make more sense to buy the Tesla. So like I said, I'll put a link to this spreadsheet in the description down below so that you can save a copy and tweak the numbers yourself. So hopefully now you have a good understanding of what it truly costs to own a Tesla and how to calculate this for yourself. And if you're thinking about buying a Tesla and this video helped you out, consider using my referral link in the description below when you're making your purchase, and we'll both get 1,000 free supercharging miles. Also, if you can think of any potential improvements for this tool or any costs that I may have forgotten, let me know in the comments down below. But that's all for today. Hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video and want to learn more about living with electric vehicles. Regardless, thanks for watching and see you next time.